Bob?
See, he's carrying the rifle back there.
Oh, cool.
Good morning. Good
Oh, hey.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Well, thank you.
So, is there a pamphlet or some literature as to when the tours are tomorrow?
The tours are all going to be from 9 to 4 in the evening. It's first come, first serve. We'll come in and we'll do just a real quick back check and make sure that there's nothing for you or anybody else. So we have some information about the ships. Right,
On the platform. Thank you.
sir?
So my girlfriend can come. Can we take pictures?
Yes, all pictures are welcome and
Okay.
encouraged.
Well, right on. Kind of cool. Okay. So I'll go check out the boards.
Okay.
Wow, those are the engines.
These guys think we're a bunch of fucking clowns, don't they? You guys waltz up in here into our own city that some of us were born into. You have no idea that our own government was involved in carrying out the 9/11 attacks. You have no idea that on the day of 9/11 there were 22 war games that NORAD was involved in, where they made them stand down as the 9/11 attacks took place. But some of you guys have heard this. Some of you guys know this. And you guys know there's no terrorist threat. You guys know this. You guys know there's no terrorist threat to this country right now. The borders are wide open. If there was a terrorist threat to this country would be under siege. We're now in 2014. It's been 13 years since 9/11. With the borders wide open, you'd think if the terror threat was real, that something would have happened. Something would have happened when this country was vulnerable, but nothing has happened. And the borders are wide open. You guys sit there, anti-government. Go ahead. You guys, you just said anti-government, didn't you?
Sir, tomorrow the ship will be open
You
for
just
tours.
said into your walkie-talkie, anti-government. I heard you.
The ship is closed for tours at this time.
I'm not really interested in taking a tour.
Yes, sir. Okay.
We're going home.
Yes, sir. You're more than welcome to take pictures. We encourage it.
I'm not mad at you. But what I do feel
How you doing, sir?
is that the security state
You ready, sir?
is out of proportion with the actual threat itself. That's all. That's all.
Yes, sir. No, I understand.
Is that the security threat is out of proportion with the actual terrorist threat itself.
We do it for a couple of reasons, and we just want to make sure that everybody's safe, sir.
I understand. And I feel like Portland's changing pretty rapidly. And every year there's more militarization coming to the waterfront. And I feel like we're being acclimated to it. And I feel like in the end, when martial law is declared, it won't be the US government, it'll be China. It'll be Russia. If you actually pay attention and actually start doing research in between your shifts, you'll find out that our own government is allowing the Chinese government to purchase large portions of US land at this particular moment in time. If you do your research and you Google Chinese diplomats visiting the United States buying large chunks of land, and if you start Googling Chinese missile technology being given by the West, and if you start Googling and you start researching the fact that what is about to come with the staged world war with China is all by design. You know, it's one thing for 9/11 to be an inside job instigated by the Western powers to launch us into a war with the Middle East and Afghanistan and Iraq. It's another thing for people to pretend that there's not going to be any consequences for everything that's happened up until then, up until now. You understand? Like, we here in our city are watching Homeland Security respond to homeless issues. You know, Nazi Germany had their own fatherland security, not too different from Homeland Security. I mean, do you see the parallels between what happened in the past and what's happening now? How about those body scanners at the airport? You know, I actually was trying to fly from Philly and get back somewhere else, and I had to go through first being scanned, and then the body scanner, and then the pat down. Mike, I don't think there's much point in saying anything. He's a pretty nice guy over here. I just don't see any point to even communicating much further because I don't think that they're really digesting what I'm saying. That the very same forces that caused 9/11 are going to plot the destruction of the United States and the foreign troop occupation of this country. I'm sure you're aware of Polish troops and troops from other countries involved in domestic terror drills. And this has all increased since 9/11. I mean, there's nothing abnormal about what I'm saying. You can go ahead and Google, I don't know, NATO foreign troops respond to Tampa Bay, Florida, domestic terror drill, where troops from over 40 to 50 countries responded to a drill in Miami in 2012. How about the boat from Canada down here? Canadian troops, in Portland waters. That's supposed to make us safe. Well, if we're so dominant as a military, be it the United States and the U.S. Navy, how do you need the Canadian Royal Army or Navy to be with you? How is it that the U.S. Navy needs backup? Aren't we good enough ourselves? Why do we need other troops from other countries to patrol our waterways? Back in 2008, the Navy Special Warfare Unit flew black helicopters over the city. It made the news here locally. It made the front page of the Oregonian. The people of Portland were alarmed that the Navy Special Warfare Unit flying the MH-6 Little Bird choppers, the Night Stalkers, over our city. Plenty of people were concerned.
You're good. Come on in. You have your ID?
I'm gonna leave, but all I've got to say is this. What goes around comes around, and I stand behind my city and I stand behind my country that I was born in, and that happens to be the United States. And if you guys have a clue of what you're involved in, you would understand this is more than the United States. You guys serve a world cabal. $100 down says you guys think I'm anti-American. You guys probably don't even realize that in the end, this country is going to be occupied by foreign troops. I challenge you to Google and investigate Polish troops and German troops and troops from other countries training on American soil to engage the American enemy, the domestic combatant, the enemy combatant. You guys are mostly used to being worshipped by people that love the Navy and love the military. But what about people that love this country and see what our own government is involved in? How many million dead from Iraq and Afghanistan? The Pentagon stopped counting the dead bodies. How many people have a conscience that they're serving a draconian system that profits off of the dead?
That's supposed to work to keep night vision from seeing it?
I don't know that.
Oh, okay, right on.
Well, Mike, we should go soon. I just want to leave with this. Everything that I've just said, you got the picture whether you agree with it or not. But the point is that if morale falls in this country in terms of military and more troops commit suicide, our country becomes weakened. If morale falls and there's a greater divide between people in the military and the people here in this country because they don't trust the military, because they're aware of what's going on. They're aware of Homeland Security and the federal government buying billions of hollow point ammunition rounds. They're aware of these things and they're concerned, and morale is collapsing. The very best thing that I can recommend for anyone listening is to consider what's actually being planned for the American people. To actually consider for a minute in your mind, without throwing it out, that everything has been set up to destroy America itself and bring it into a one world government, to merge our own military with that of NATO. It's already been done in Afghanistan and Iraq. That's the first stage. So NATO jets, yeah, you know, right behind the Russian bombers. Well, why are the Russian bombers getting closer to the U.S. soil? Who said that was okay? So they're going to spend all this money on Al-Qaeda, but you're going to let Russian bombers get close to U.S. aerospace? How about that Chinese firm that has the monopoly to scan in their own cargo in Los Angeles at the port there? Have you heard of that? The guy that runs that company, he's the son of Hu Jintao. So what I'm saying is that the people that have set up this whole surveillance society, police state, military-industrial complex, let's police the streets, let's get America used to troops on American soil walking around our waterfront with ammunition. Have you considered that this is actually a grooming process for something larger? And a grooming process for you guys as well, as you guys get used to working with troops from other countries. Everything right now,
Moving, I'm trying to take a picture.
everything right now is being done to make the U.S. look bad. Even with relations with Russia, the situation with Syria, John Kerry saying that Syria did this and Syria did that. None of that was proven, but it's all being done by design to make the United States look bad. So the whole world one day turns against us. That's horrible. That's fucking horrible. I can't think of a more horrible idea in my mind of our country being invaded by other countries at some point in the future, because the world thinks that there needs to be an intervention in the United States. And there's a lot of hatred right now against Americans. You think that sits well in my stomach? So the only thing that I can recommend is that people take a look at the international agenda and don't get confused and think that this talk is anti-American. There is an agenda to break down morale in the U.S. Navy, the U.S. military, the U.S. Army, and everything else to make Russia and China look better while we go further and further into a police state. As more of our brothers and sisters get involved in the system, as more of us end up homeless because the jobs are disappearing. Jobs are there if you want to go into the military. Jobs are there if you want to go into law enforcement. Jobs are there if you want to go into criminal justice. What does that say about our society? What would our ancestors say? Wherever your ancestors are from, wherever my ancestors are from. That we at this point in our history have reached this point. The only thing that I ask of you is that in your own personal time you question these things. And the consequences, what consequences could actually come about from a society where we are allowing Homeland Security to film us in our own bus mall here, facial recognition technology that's actually shared by other governments having access to that surveillance database. How can this go wrong? How can this go wrong for other countries to have access to the information about the people that are going in and out of the body scanners? That's the point. Because you're mostly used to people just pissed off at the system. You're not used to people talking about the larger agenda and other countries. I know you're not, because I'm a person that talks about these issues with other activists that don't see this. They're not aware of China buying record numbers of acreages in this country. They're not aware of the Singaporean Air Force Base training in Idaho right now. They're not aware of Polish troops training in Chicago a couple years ago. They're not aware of the major drill that took place in Tampa Bay, Florida in 2012 with troops from 60 countries. Why are troops from over 60 countries responding to a kidnapping of the mayor in Tampa in a drill in 2012? It's because they're prepping the American people and you guys to work with troops from other countries to bring security and safety to this country. The only thing that we need for safety and security is for the world elite to be destroyed. And the only thing that will allow that is an act of God at this point.
Alex, I want to give up my liberty for security. I do. I desperately need. I need protection. I need my civil liberties raped. I need to be economically sodomized by bankers. I mean, I really, really desperately need these things. And these fine gentlemen here are here to provide that for me, and I thank them from the bottom of my heart.
Well, I thank them too for listening.
Yeah. They're good listeners, Alex. I mean, they patiently stood there and listened, and they're very good listeners. I'm very surprised, but they are. They're you know, I think you had, especially this guy right here, is his undivided attention.
You know what they call destroyers? Floating coffins. You know why? If you're hit, you're gonna go down in it. If you're hit, if you're at sea and that destroyer goes down, you're gonna lose everything. Your wife will be a widow. Your kids will be bastards.
I think our own government's going to set the U.S. Navy. What do you think about that? I think that's horrible. I think our own government's going to set you guys up in the next decade for those that are still serving. You won't realize it, but an EMP will go off. The defenses of this country will go down, and they're just going to pour into this country from the West Coast. If any of you men actually do care about this country, you will investigate this country's ties to China and how we are arming our future enemies. If you do care inside your heart, you will look at those things and you will alert your comrades. You will alert your comrades. You will continue to serve the U.S. Navy. But in the meantime, in the next decade, you will alert your comrades that there is something wrong and there are international ties between this government and other governments. And there are people being set up for a fall. That's what you will do if you care about this country. That's what each and every one of you will do that can hear me right now. You will plant seeds. You will investigate the truth about 9/11. You will investigate the martial law drills over the course of the last several decades. You will investigate how many foreign troops have trained on U.S. soil. You will do that for me, and you will do that for your children and your grandchildren.
Navy decided to contact Portland Police, and they are on the way to speak with us, apparently. Hey man, how are you? Really? The park is closed?
Yep.
So I just have one quick question about
Absolutely.
the park.
Let's chat on the sidewalk.
Well, no. Wait. Before I go, why are people being allowed to ride by on bicycles all night if the park...
They're not supposed to be.
Oh, okay, right on. So you will enforce that if you see them?
Absolutely.
Okay, right on. So where's the safe place to film from?
Sidewalk.
Bye, U.S. Navy! It was really fun filming you! Bye, guys!
Good one. Good one.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, right on. Well,
Appreciate it.
so am I safe right here?
Sidewalk.
Okay, right on. Well, I need to get good shots of you talking to them. I mean, how's that
Well, you can get it from there. I'm not hiding.
Okay. So yeah, apparently even though there's been people on public sidewalks all night riding by on their bicycles, the officer's telling me the park is closed. And we have Portland Police Bureau over there.
Supervisor.
And we have a supervisor right there. And we have an unmarked car down there. So apparently if you engage the U.S. Navy in political discussions, they call Portland Police Bureau. I find it very, annoying that, like, we have filmed people literally walking through here for hours and riding through on bicycles, and, you know, there's no call about that, but, you know, but honestly, those Navy guys did have a really great constitution. I mean, they put up with a whole lot of, you know, truth bombs, some 9/11 truth action, some military-industrial complex stuff. I mean, they did they put up with some serious truth bomb action.
Yeah,
but,
we got a cop right behind you, backing up.
Oh, cool. Wow. Yeah, they called quite a few cops to discuss with us. Whatnot. Oh. You know, I would love to hear what's going on over there. I would. He's probably explaining to them that we're a local cop watching group and the fact that we're activists and all this other stuff. And
Yeah, we're crazy.
we're not with Al Qaeda. And now we can't even have any fun with the Navy because I know this cop, and like I know probably any of the ones that came up here because I work filming Police Portland and work with the Portland Police Bureau guys so much that they all know me. So the gig is up, and they're not gonna be any fun anymore to film, unfortunately. You know. Damn it!
Alright, Mike, any other questions, bud?
I do have a question. Like, are you willing to stay here and review footage of, like, you know, all kinds of people riding by on bicycles all night? Like,
You know I cannot be everywhere.
you can't be everywhere.
Okay. I've got other calls to go to.
Did you tell the nice U.S. Navy that we're not with Al Qaeda?
Yeah, oh yeah.
And they can't freak, and they don't have to freak out.
And he said you guys were standing there for a while and you had no problems.
Right on.
But then you guys kept getting closer.
Well, right. Well, yeah, we're playing the tippy toe game.
I know you are. They know you are.
Well, you have a good night, officer.
All right. See you guys.